Good morning. Happy Tuesday. We're on patrol today at clickorlando.com, News 6 Plus. And of course, if you've got the News 6 app, you can join us there every weekday that I am working. We will knock out a really cool On Patrol Live. Now, today is a very specific topic to Florida, even though most of our states, I want to say majority of them, do have some type of colored alert system that kind of goes with what we are talking about today. So most commonly we see a lot of is the Amber Alert, the Amber Alert system. I notice you guys can see my product placement here. So the Amber Alert system, what is it? Why do we have it? I even made some fancy cards so we know what we're talking about today. And we're going to talk about 4 different alert systems in the state of Florida. That's the only ones I know about. It's the only ones you should care about, because if other states are issuing it and it comes here to Florida, you're going to get the same alert. So what 4 alerts are we going to talk about? We are going to talk about the Amber Alert. We are going to talk about the Blue Alert. We're also going to talk about the Purple Alert, and of course the Silver Alert. So 4 different alerts, color coded, and you've probably seen them like while driving out and about on overhead signs and stuff like that, which is a great way to get the message out. Depending on the severity of the alert, sometimes your phone will go off, stuff like that. So first, when you're driving, those marquee signs are great things to pay attention to, because they put a lot of information out, whether a crash is out there or whether one of these alerts have kind of come across. So the first one we're going to talk about is going to be the Florida Amber Alert, and it's probably the most common alert, the Florida Amber Alert. The Florida Amber Alert in 2000, Florida Department of Law Enforcement, FDLE we call it, along with state, local, and some other private partners, developed a plan to establish the Amber Alert here in the state. Now, that Amber Alert provides law enforcement with a tool to quickly and effectively notify the public of critical information regarding a child who has been abducted and is in danger. So together, these tools provide law enforcement and residents and visitors with information to really know what's going on. How often do you, if you're in the state of Florida or anywhere, your phone will suddenly go off with some type of loud buzzer, and it may not be in your area, but I encourage you, when you do get those alerts, click it and read it, because you're only getting that alert if for some reason there's information that says, hey, you can, you're only going to get that information geo-based. So we're here in Florida, right? Or Orlando. I'm sitting here right now in the packing district, the new packing district of Orlando. And if I got that alert, I would want to read it, even if it said missing from Jacksonville. Why? Because there's information that could indicate that that person is going to be traveling through your area. So that is always something you want to keep and pay attention. Then, of course, sorry, when we're live here, my phone's going crazy. So that is your Florida Amber Alert. This happens with kids. How often a child goes missing, that is super important. So when you see Amber Alert, make sure you are paying really big attention to something like that. A very interesting one. This is the newest one. It's going to be the Florida Purple Alert. The Purple Alert, all right? So the Purple Alert, and I'm reading this information straight from FDLE, the state's website, so that you know exactly what this represents. And this is very, very different from Purple Alert to the Silver Alert, which we'll talk in a second. So purple alert, the Florida purple alert, is used to assist in the location of a missing adult, so not a child, a missing adult suffering from a mental or cognitive disability that is not Alzheimer's or dementia related. An intellectual disability or a development disability, a brain injury, other physical, mental, or emotional disabilities that are not related to substance abuse or a combination of these, and whose disappearance poses a credible threat or immediate danger or serious bodily harm. Purple alerts engage the public in the search of the missing and prioritize and coordinate community responses. So, what is a purple alert? If you're watching, you're probably thinking, okay, what would this be? So, someone whose mental capacity is not caused by drug use or a developmental cognitive disease like Alzheimer's or something that we experience possibly when we get older in age. This would be someone's normal mental faculties that are different than, that are not on a normal base. So someone who suffers from some type of mental capacity that could be lower, someone who has special needs, someone who needs constant supervision that is over the age of 18, but not of a senior level to where it's Alzheimer's. But that's where the silver alert comes into play. So the Florida silver alert, that is the one that we pay attention to when it comes to our senior citizens. So the Florida silver alert is used to locate missing persons suffering from an irreversible deterioration of intellectual faculties. So the Florida Silver Alert plan outlines 2 levels of Silver Alert activation, all right? So it's a local one. So if we know that the person's maybe still in the area, and then of course at a state. Local and state Silver Alerts engage the public to search. So this would be someone, grandfather, mother, grandmother, aunt, uncle of older age that is suffering from Alzheimer's, dementia, things like that, that could become confused, lost, and sometimes you will see Florida Silver Alert issued, and then it would have some type of vehicle description saying, watch out, silver Toyota Camry, Florida tag, 123 ABC, something like that. And then, of course, finally, is our last alert here in the state of Florida, is our Florida Blue Alert. This is a big safety alert for not only law enforcement, but for the citizens, really. So let's talk about the Florida Blue Alert. The Florida Blue Alert, designed to notify the public of a critical information or incident when a law enforcement officer is either killed, suffered serious bodily injury, or is missing while in the line of duty. And here's the kicker: the suspect, who is considered to pose an imminent threat to the public, is still at large, so still is missing. This is a serious issue. So they create, the Florida Blue Alert is our newest one, and that is kind of like a buzzer. Hey, look, someone is out there that has committed serious crimes, and they've proven it, and we believe they're still going to do more. They've used those actions against law enforcement, so we need to notify the community. A blue alert would be issued. So if you're just joining us, thanks. A little late to the game, but it's all right. We're going over 4 different alerts here, and it's the Florida Amber Alert, Silver Alert, Blue Alert, and the Purple Alert. These all get activated when key requirements are being met, and are really, the information is pushed out on so many different platforms. Every social media account, your phone gets interrupted depending on the geolocation, things like that, and you've got to always be aware. And these are real alerts, so you've got to be really aware of what's going on. So let's recap all of them real fast and see how much you have learned. First one, the Florida Amber Alert. This is for children that are missing in the state of Florida, and there is a belief that their life is in extreme danger. Then, of course, we have the Silver Alert. The Florida Silver Alert is used to locate missing persons suffering from an irreversible, deteriorating disease of their normal faculties, things like Alzheimer's, dementia, stuff like that. Then we have our Florida Purple Alert. The Purple Alert is for similar, but not of Alzheimer's or any type of specific dementia disease. These are for adults, but serve at a lower mental capacity, and constant need of supervision is required. So an alert like this gets put out so that people could look out for them. And then, of course, our Florida Blue Alert. The Blue Alert is an alert for safety, meaning a suspect is on the loose that poses imminent danger to the community, and they've already used that danger on law enforcement, either killing one or severe injuries. So these are alerts that are issued all the time. They are put out on local bulletins and put out on marquees. When I say the marquees, I'm meaning the signs that you would see when driving around up and posted. Yeah. So a lot to talk about when it comes to those alerts. We see them all the time. A good example is when tragically Officer Jason Rayner with the Daytona Beach Police Department was killed. Remember, that officer was shot and spent 55 days in the hospital. His killer was on the loose and posed a very serious threat to the local community. So a blue alert was issued. Every 67 of our counties got that alert and were notified the description of who we were looking for, and ultimately that person was found in Georgia. So that is something just an example of how the Florida Blue Alert was used. Amber Alerts, when a lot of these are issued custody battles between parents, and one will take the child knowing that they're not supposed to have custody of that child, and parents notify law enforcement. They'll do their best to get in touch with the other party, but once certain elements have been met to say, hey, this child was not supposed to be with this person, obviously bad intentions, then an Amber Alert could be issued. And then, of course, for our elderly, it is an unfortunate disease, Alzheimer's and dementia, but it takes effects. The effects that it takes on us are just tragic. And when those moments of forgetfulness or confusion happen, it can really affect a lot of things, to include your driving and your whereabouts. So the Silver Alert gets issued for people that are suffering from things like that, based off of their criteria. Their family speaks with law enforcement, and then of course that gets issued. And then if you've got some type of if you're a guardian of somebody who suffers from a lower mental capacity due to some type of born illness or their situation, the Florida Purple Alert would get issued. Now that is not for a child, it has to be for an adult. So since I've got you guys here, let's drive around Princeton a little bit. So this area has been under construction for quite some time. I need something to drink. So if you're just joining us, we just talked about all the different types of Florida alert systems, and now, since we just spent 15 solid minutes, I figured we'd hit the road. Go through this construction zone in the College Park area. It is a mess. College Park / Packing District. I know if I say College Park folks will be like, that's not our construction. Well, so it's the new area called the Packing District, and y'all are getting a new roundabout. So I figured we'd just drive through that real quick. since our topic today was really simple. Solid mix. All right, so westbound on Princeton, on Smith, excuse me. Construction zone, I'm gonna merge on over. We're approaching Orange Blossom Trail. This is where that new packing district is being installed. The problem I have with it out here, the temporary lanes are horribly marked. If you're headed southbound on Orange Blossom Trail, you have no clue that the left lane is a left turning lane only. That's the fault of the marking that's out here. Even though they have a marquee sign saying it, that is not enough. We are getting a roundabout in the packing district, so if you're headed west on Princeton here, you over by the Peterbilt Truck Company here, you'll see it. It's over by the new YMCA. This whole area is getting refaced. It is crazy. So here's this new roundabout. Pretty crazy. But it's going to be a single lane roundabout, which is nice, I believe, which will allow you guys to figure it out. We will do a on patrol on roundabouts, I promise. We will talk about it. We will address all things roundabout, double entrance, single entrance, all that stuff at some point. But until then, so yeah, today's ride along super easy. I keep calling it ride along because technically that's what you're doing, but I'm the one on patrol. Complete stop north on John Young. I need to get some gas. So appreciate you guys tuning in today. Today's topic was super simple, but very important. And what we talked about were the Florida colored alert systems. And what do I mean by that? The amber alert, the silver alert, the purple alert, and the blue alert. Each one having very, very different meanings, but all with the goal of trying to help find someone, really. Each one having a certain criteria in order to issue that alert to the proper authorities and to the proper part of the community, because ultimately that's the ones who are going to be responding, is the community. So amber, purple, silver, and blue. Those are your 4 big alerts here in the state of Florida. Amber alert being for missing children that are in danger. Silver alert for our elderly, dementia, Alzheimer's disease. Blue alert, priority safety. There is a threat to the public. And then purple for those with lowered mental capacities that need constant supervision. And these are posted all over the place, whether it's on the highway signs, social media, and of course, make sure you set your Android or Apple phone for your alert system. So when the state of Florida issues those, you can properly be notified and ultimately maybe help find someone. So appreciate you guys joining on patrol with me in Results 1 here in Central Florida. We'll be out on a pop-up tomorrow with the Orange County Sheriff's Office for another backpack drive. So that will be awesome. Make sure you tune in for News 6 at 9. Starts in a few. I'll do a nice traffic. And then we've got a Serving Those Who Serve with a colonel from UCF. We'll be talking there. So until then, I appreciate you guys, and we'll talk soon.